A very good evening and welcome to Breaking Today. My name is Joel Church and our sign language interpreter is Michael Maida. We have a lot in line for you and these are our top stories.
We are going through that very difficult time of saying, now what do we do again? Do we close up?
President Uhuru Kenyatta has hinted that the recently lifted restrictions to curb the spread of COVID-19 might soon be reimposed due to rising numbers in the country.
There is absolutely no reason why anybody would push this country to a divisive debate.
Deputy President William Ruto promises to stop reggae if the BBI report will not feature needs facing Kenyans. Turkwel Dam nears spill and residents are urged to relocate to safer, higher grounds. Remember, you can text us on 111 and tell us where you're watching without forgetting your name and, of course, your comments about our stories this evening. President Uhuru Kenyatta has today hinted that the restriction measures to curb the COVID-19 might soon be introduced due to the skyrocketing cases and fatalities. The president encouraged Kenyans to take personal responsibility seriously towards curbing the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. This comes as 685 more patients tested positive today, with 17 more losing their lives to the virus. Nyakundi Kelvin fired the report.
Kenya has continued recording high numbers of COVID-19 cases, with a relaxation of some of the COVID-19 restriction measures by President Kenyatta in September being attributed to the increase in the number of infections in the country.
Because truly, we are facing a major challenge. And I remember when we said we are going to reopen, we said people take up the challenge of personal responsibility. And I'm glad to see the Anglican Church has taken up that call of personal responsibility. And if we all did it, we could keep COVID at bay, we would reduce deaths, and we would be able to continue to drive our economic agenda.
He stressed on the compliance of the COVID-19 protocols, especially on keeping social distance.
If only people would observe and would be caring of their fellow citizens, it is possible to keep COVID at bay and still be able to live and lead a normal life. I only wish that this issue of personal responsibility would be taken at heart.
The president noted that the government was already mulling imposition of fresher restrictions.
We are going through that very difficult time of saying, now what do we do again? Do we close up? We shall be coming back to that, not today, but soon. But when I see this, it says that, we don't have to.
The head of state is on Wednesday set to chair the 6th extraordinary session of the national and county governments over the COVID-19 situation in the country to discuss the rising numbers and find mitigating measures. Nyakundi Kelvin, Switch TV.
Shifting gears now to matters politics, Deputy President William Ruto has promised to stop reggae if the BBI report will not feature needs facing Kenyans, claiming the report is only focused on creating positions for few leaders. DP Ruto further alleged that the referendum could be less costly if all leaders came to a consensus that would avoid the need for leaders campaigning for passing of the BBI report. Daniel Kariuki reports.
DP Ruto's trips across the Mount Kenya region continue to heighten political temperatures in the nation, with the BBI in 2022 general elections being the main subject of his tours. Today, Ruto visited the counties of Tharaka Nithi and Nyeri, where he promised to stop reggae of the BBI report if it does not highlight issues facing ordinary Kenyans.
This referendum can cost us very little. We don't have to spend public resources in campaigning. We can agree through consensus so that there are no campaigns and we can go together.
The deputy president, however, defended his campaign tracks, claiming he's inspecting government development projects as directed by his boss, President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Let us reason together. Let us not engage in a contest of us versus them.
Tukiomba kura tukasema Uhuru Ruto ndani tena, si ndio? Hatukusema Uhuru ndani na Ruto nje.
Embattled Tharaka Nithi Senator and former Deputy Speaker of the Senate, Kithure Kindiki, who is also a very close ally of the Deputy President, took to the podium to hit out at his impeachers. Kindiki also promised to fight the BBI report if it does not guarantee minimum return to the cash crop farmers in Tharaka Nithi County.
Maneno ya BBI kama aita lete usawa katika Kenya hii, tutaipinga.
The Deputy President was also accompanied by Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndidi Nyoro, Gatundu South MP Moses Kuria, Kirinyaga Women Representative Wangoi Ngirishi, Kandara MP Alice Wahome, and Kikuyu MP Kimani Ichung'wah, among others.
Tutasimamisha rege ama tutasimamisha?
DP, however, made his intentions clear of being in the 2022 presidential race, just few days after President Uhuru Kenyatta claimed he was running in the wrong side of the track.
Unakimbia, ule mwingine anakugojea pale, anatakikana kukugojea ndio ashike aendelee, si ndio? Lakini sasa my brother William hapa amepinduka, anakimbia nyuma.
Daniel Kariuki, Switch TV.
Elsewhere, NC party leader Musalia Mudavadi has called on President Uhuru Kenyatta and his handshake partner Raila Odinga to open a window for dialogue on BBI issues before proceeding to a referendum. He was speaking at Ngong Salvation Army Church in Ngong Town, Kajiado County.
Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya na hata na mwenzake ambao walibuni hiyo mambo ya BBI wafungue dirisha kidogo yale ambao bado ni mazito kwa roho za watu washauriane, yapigwe musasa, tuwe na kile tunasema non-contested referendum.
Kama 70 positions are being created in the parliament ya wamama ama ya watu watawenda hapo, ya wamama iko wapi? Hapo main parliament ndio waziri watatoka. Ukichukua kina mama muwaweke Senate, waziri wakiwekwa kwa parliament, wamama watakuwa huko.
A time to take a breather. Stay with us here on Breaking Today. Still more to come, including a special feature tonight of the looming spill of the Turkwel Dam. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Breaking Today. My name is Joel Chacha and our sign language interpreter is Michael Maida. Moving on, people living around Turkwel Dam have been urged to relocate to safer grounds with the water reservoir levels increasing. According to KVDA, the spillage is expected to happen within the month of December if there will be a consistent rainfall. Multi-agency monitoring the dam have also issued similar warnings. Emmanuel Terer just returned from Turkana with the story.
Quiet, calm and cool waters. The Turkwel Dam. There is an increase in water levels in the dam. The increase is believed to have been caused by short rains that are expected to run all the way to December this year. Located north of Kapenguria in West Pokot County, Turkwel Dam is about 66 kilometers square and the volume of the reservoir is about 1.6 billion meter cube.
Ni bwawa ambalo ilijengwa mwaka wa 86 na ikaelekea mpaka muda wake mpaka mwaka wa 93. Ikamalizwa. Mzee ambaye president alikuwa zamani, President Moi, alikuja akafungua, akatufanyia sherehe na akatufungulia na mradi kaanza. Na mradi ilikuwa ni mambo mawili. Ya kwanza kutoa stima na ya pili kuweka miradi ya kunyunyiza maji.
The dam was designed to spill in case of excess waters. Upon reaching the maximum level, there is always an allowance of evacuation of excess water through the spillway. All measures including 24-hour surveillance by the KVDA engineers has been put in place.
What it means is that as it goes through the spillway, is that the rivers, River Turkwel, will have now above normal water by 17 cubic per second, which is not much. It's normally water. Anytime there is flooding or adequate rains or above normal rains within that particular region, Turkwel region, then the same volume is normally expected.
However, there is a looming risk coming this December.
And that particular spill, the earliest expected for the dam to spill will be about by 15th of December. That is, if there is continuous rains.
The county government of Turkana that is expected to feel the impact of the spillage is on high alert. Already, a contingency plan has been put in place in case of a spillage which will affect more than 40,000 households.
For Turkwel Dam, the population that is expected to be affected is over 40,000 households that are expected to be affected. That is from the assessment that was done.
Red Cross, together with the multi-agency Turkwel Dam monitoring team, have advised people living in risk areas to relocate to safe grounds.
We are closely working with the other authorities and the agencies in monitoring the levels of the dam and the volumes which may be fed into the River Turkwel as a result of the projected spillage and the impact which this spillage may cause.
The spillage is not the only threat facing this community. The Turkwel Dam, with a radius of over 60,000 kilometers square, is known for other dangers, the crocodiles. Chief Joseph Siwa says more than 30 residents have lost their lives along this famous dam.
Na waliposonga, maji zikasonga. Na mamba zilikuwa ndani, mamba zinakuja, zinaenda kwa maboma.
Despite the calls to move to safer grounds and the threats posed by the crocodiles, there are people who are still living along the riparian parts of the dam. Joash Simiyu has been living here for the last 12 years now. A fisherman who trades between Turkana and Bungoma County is at work. Simiyu says he has no reason to move from his trading route. Even though they are not planning to move away, their houses sank after the first wave of flooding.
Maji imepanda mpaka ikamaliza beach, ikamaliza manyumba zetu, tukakimbilia hapa juu. Bado vile tulikimbilia hapa juu, mnaona manyumba ndio hii zimemalizwa.
The spillage of Turkwel Dam means Lake Turkana will be affected too.
They start directly interconnectedness because the Turkwel Dam, the outlet of Turkwel Dam feeds into Lake Turkana.
Lake Turkana is the largest lake desert in the world. Located in the northwest side of Kenya, it borders Marsabit and Turkana County, measuring about 249 kilometers long, 48 kilometers wide, and 35 meters deep. Rivers flowing to Lake Turkana are River Omo, Takwel River, and Kerio River. At the shores of the lake, there is life, beehive of activities, children swimming unaware of the looming spill. From the look of things, it has not been all rosy. Hopelessness written all over this former village as the water continues to rise. Waters collected all the way from River Omo in Ethiopia and deposited here, wreaking havoc.
Because the water is rising every day, because the rains that are raining in Ethiopia, because the biggest river that is bringing water to Lake Turkana is from River Omo.
Someone used to call this home, but they had to leave because of the surge in the waters. Lake Turkana is filling, and people are fleeing to look for another home.
Over 300 families, actually, households have been displaced in Lake Turkana. So, but the situation is changing every single day.
To meet the families, one need to cross over shallow waters. According to the residents, floods began in July this year.
Maji kaleta shida hapa, tukama mara ya kwanza kidogo, tukakuja tena hapa karibu mali mmetoka msemtai nyumba mabati. Sisi tena tukakuja tukajenga hapa, wengine wenzetu wakasonga mbele. Sasa tumebambana mambo ya maji mwezi wa 7, mwezi wa 9, mpaka sijui tuseme mwezi wa 10.
For those who could not stand the floods, they chose to move to a different place. This is the third time it's happening.
Maji ikaendelea kukua mingi. Kufika mwezi wa 8, tukasongesha tena wanakijiji wote, tukaenda mahali pakapu. Sasa maji bado inaendelea kukua mingi kufita kiasi. Na hata leo hii, boma zetu ingine imebaki kwa maji.
Hakika sisi tunahangaika, mara kidogo maji inasonga na sisi tunasonga. Maji inasonga na sisi tunasonga. Tunaishi kwa mikeka. Tunaomba serikali itusaidie.
According to Kenya Meteorological Department, there is a possibility of receiving high rainfall towards the end of this year. Kenya Red Cross is working closely with the county government and other agencies within the multi-agency coordination framework to secure lives of residents living along Lake Turkana.
So we are enhancing our preparedness plans, working closely with the other actors and agencies, and continuing to ensure that the communities receive the right information. We want the communities to receive the right information of early warning and the subsequent actions which they need to take to ensure the safety of themselves and their households, especially those populations which are residing along those areas which are susceptible to the impact of enhanced volumes of water, either within the river or equally along the shores of Lake Turkana.
With the looming spill and a silent village not knowing what or where to go from here, the government and the Kenya Red Cross is urging the residents to move to a safer ground before it's too late.
So sensitization, we are using our ward administrators, we are using our sub-county administrators, we are using the chiefs, and we want to use the MCS so that they're able to talk to the people to move. Those people are living along the river to move.
That the communities are able to take that initiative of moving to grounds which will be safer so that they are not exposed to this threat at hand.
This is Daraja village. They all came here hoping that one day waters will subside and they will go back to their best lives. Emmanuel Terer, Switch TV.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel Terer, for that story. And now crossing borders to the United States politics, the Democratic Vice Presidential nominee Kamala Harris has made 3 campaign stops across Florida, which is a vital swing state, just 3 days before election on November 3rd, telling supporters that she and Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden have a plan to help the U.S. recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, Donald Trump visited today 5 swing states in a punishing finale to a frantic weekend against Joe Biden, just days ahead of the U.S. presidential election. Andrew Kero with more.
The race for the White House continues to break new ground and set records in 2020 on early voting, spending, and more. The presidential election is expected to come down to results in 10 states, where residents tend to vacillate in their support between one party and the other. Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Florida, Iowa, and Ohio were essential for Donald Trump's victory in 2016, and polls show that Joe Biden could disrupt Republican electoral power in Georgia, Arizona, North Carolina, and Texas this year.
The only way we can lose this state, and the numbers are in, you see what's going on, right? Somebody's going to play games and they just get an extension. What's the extension all about? Wouldn't you like to hear November 3rd, we win, we lose, we win, we lose, whatever. November 3rd, now you have more time. What's going on?
Let me just really clear Florida. Joe Biden and I are proud, patriotic Americans who share the values with the vast majority of the American people who want a president of the United States who speaks truth.
Besides voting for president, millions of American voters will also be choosing members of the country's 117th Congress. There are 5 Senate seats up for grabs, as are all 405 in the House of Representatives. Democrats currently hold power in the House, an advantage they are unlikely to lose according to experts. To win the White House, a candidate must take an absolute majority of electoral votes, making 270 the magic number.
A vote for Biden and Harris is a vote to ban, and you know this, ban fracking, ban mining, close up your individual plants. They got plants all over the place. I grew up here. They have plants all over.
The Biden campaign has pulled ahead on that front, flooding airwaves in key states with political ads. Using some of his most urgent language yet, Trump warned of Belgium in our country if no clear winners emerges quickly in Tuesday's election, saying without evidence that it could take weeks to sort out a result and that very bad things could happen in the interim. Biden, meanwhile, told Bakers it was time for Donald Trump to pack his bags and go home.
The vast majority of the American people who want a president who understands that regardless of where we live, our race, our gender, the language our grandmother speaks, that we all have so much more in common than what separates us. That's what the American people want.
Biden made his first joint appearance of the campaign with his former boss, Barack Obama, probably the most popular Democratic in the country, in Flint, Michigan, as they scrambled to boost turnout in a state Trump carried by a razor-thin margin in 2016. Vice President Mike Pence, who was meanwhile campaigning in narrowly divided North Carolina as Biden's running mate Kamala Harris, who was in Florida, another vitally important swing state. Andrew Carroll, Switch TV.
And now I'm tossing the ball to Cedric Oronje for the latest in the world of sports.
Sports News is proudly sponsored by Showmax. Live stream world-class sport from Supersport, only on Showmax Pro.
Many thanks for staying with us. My name is Cedric Oronje, and now let's dive deep into matters sports. The Rising Stars and members of their technical bench have undergone mandatory COVID-19 tests ahead of the CECAFA Under-20 Championships. The team, which reported to camp on Saturday, have a scheduled friendly match against Sudan on November 2nd in preparations for the regional showpiece. And now